As we welcome you back to Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, we can eliminate all those wondrous things we've been saying about the nice weather this season, because sometime between last week and today, it got cold.
Hey, it's warmed up 3 degrees from 2 hours ago. It was 26 when we got here. It's up to 29. Stop complaining.
That's Stephen Logan. Deep for the Steelers, who have won the toss. Janikowski's kick. Logan from a yard deep in the end zone. Running room. Up the middle. Breaks to the outside. Only Janikowski to beat. Can they catch him? Knocked out of bounds at about the 20-yard line by Todd Watkins.
Well, finally, a team that's had 4 kickoffs returned against them for touchdowns finally gets a feel-good moment of their own. You can see the little bit of a fake on a reverse, and then lane breakdown on the part of the Raiders. And thank God for hustle of Hiram Eugene, who finally forces him back into some teammates. Obviously, the Raiders don't play well on the road, and that is a horrific start.
An 83-yard return, longest of the season for the Steelers. First down from the Oakland 19. Roethlisberger going to throw it out here to the near side. Santonio Holmes out of bounds inside the 15-yard line.
Well, they go empty backfield on the first play. Now they're in a traditional I.
And here's Rashard Mendenhall.
Key there, Greg, if you really want to get into that running game. Chris Kemoeatu coming back at left guard, a big plus.
3rd and 6 now as Roethlisberger works out of the shotgun.
52. Hey, come with me, Mike. Come with me, Mike.
To the 5-yard line, in and out of the hands of Santonio Holmes. Stanford Routt was there defensively for the Raiders.
Well, a win by the Raiders defensively here, forcing a Pittsburgh field goal. Although this looked like it could have been a catchable ball, right into the hands of Santonio Holmes. Ben delivers a perfect strike. And just at the last minute, you could see Routt got a hand in there. Whether he actually touched the ball or not, I'm not sure, but it still looked like a ball that Holmes could have grabbed.
Jeff Reed from 33 yards out. He's made 11 in a row. Make it 12. Number 11, Stephen Logan, in his first season out of South Dakota, set up the first score of the game with an 83-yard kickoff return. And now the Steeler defense will take the field after Jeff Reed kicks it away to the Raiders. Number 22, Gary Russell, is deep for Oakland.
Well, it is a real positive, though, for the Raiders defensively that they came out of that with only 3 points.
There's Tom Cable.
You don't want to open up a game with that kind of field position, but again, you look to take a positive out of it, and there's a 4-point positive, the difference between 3 and 7.
So here's Reed's kick. And Russell from the 8. 40. And out to the 42-yard line, and a fine return and good field position. There is Jamarcus Russell, the starter for most of this season up until 3 weeks ago. Fargas, the deep back, behind Gradkowski. And they'll throw it instead. He lost the football. Fell on it at about the 38-yard line.
Well, Bruce Gradkowski has had tough luck here in his starts before. And this, he's trying to get rid of the football, and his own teammate goes too close to him and knocks it out of his hands. This is actually the 3rd time that Gradkowski has started here at Heinz Field. Once for the Buccaneers, once for the Cleveland Browns, and now for the Raiders. His previous 2 visits, disasters.
Loss of 4, 2nd and 14. Short drop, going to throw it out into the flat. And Fargas, 3rd and 10. Let's see what the defense dials up for Gradkowski. Going to hand it off. 45, midfield, and very close to a first down is Justin Fargas.
Well, Justin Fargas has been a bright spot in terms of effort in the running game for the Raiders.
This is 4th down. And let's see. Now it looks like we're going to measure it right now.
Yeah, at first Jerome Boger's going, it's not even close enough to measure, but
looks to be about maybe half a yard short or so. Our vantage point from a quarter mile away, of course, being the best there is, Dan.
Well, and you know, we'll see how the Raiders play it today, but when you're in their position, you really do have nothing to lose. And when you're on the road in a situation like this, you are much freer to make gambling type decisions from the beginning to the end of a football game. And we'll see what Tom Cable's going to do here.
He is going to go for it.
You know, I think if the Raiders were 8-3 instead of 3-8, they might punt the ball.
Steeler fans getting a little excited about it now. 4th, and we'll call it 1. Fargas, the deep back, Luke Lawton in front of him. Gradkowski going to keep it and throw and complete it. Inside the 40 is Fargas for a first down.
Gradkowski's pass complete to Fargas.
Well, nice ball handling by Bruce Gradkowski, and that is a pattern that's almost impossible to defend. You see, it's a play-action fake to Fargas, and then he releases. That ball came very close to being tipped, but that's a pretty high percentage play because Gradkowski is nimble enough that if the defender on the line floats off into coverage with Fargas, well, then he just tucks it in and runs for the first down.
Woodley was the linebacker close to tipping it, but it's a Steeler or a Raider first down. And McFadden in the backfield now gets the handoff, and not very much there to about the 37-yard line.
Tom Cable telling us that he thinks Polamalu is the best defensive player in the National Football League.
McFadden again. McFadden to about the 30-yard line and about a yard short of a first down. Lawrence Timmons with the stop. Only once have the Raiders scored on an opening drive, and that was against Kansas City, a game that they lost 16-10.
Well, this is the lowest scoring team in the National Football League. Jamarcus Russell quarterbacked it for the majority of this season, but they average only 10.5 points a game. That is dead last in the NFL.
3rd and 1. McFadden. Hit at the 30-yard line. Casey Hampton led the way, and that'll be short of a first down.
That will be well short of a first down. Look at that penetration, first of all, upfield by Eason. That really disrupted the play. Eason just gets way upfield, forces McFadden to go wide, and there's just absolutely nothing there as Big Casey closes it off.
And here's Sebastian Janikowski. 48 yards will be the distance here. Kick on its way and looking pretty good. 8 minutes, 36 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Sebastian Janikowski, who capped the scoring drive with the field goal, will kick it away, and once again Stephen Logan will return the opening kickoff 83 yards. Won't get the chance here. This is Kerry Davis, and Davis brought down at about the 27, 28-yard line. Part of the crowd here at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. And Ben Roethlisberger back in the lineup. You know, much was made of the Hines Ward comments regarding Roethlisberger not playing last week, and as is so often the case, a lot more was made of it than it actually was, because Ben Roethlisberger, Hines Ward, the coach, didn't think much of it. On first down, this is Mendenhall, and Mendenhall stood up at about the 31-yard line.
Well, you know what, Greg? Hines Ward felt compelled to apologize for his comments, and it was kind of the perfect storm. And he gave an interview right after finding out that Ben wasn't going to play, after the team assumed all week that he was going to play because he'd practiced all week, but because of those exercise-induced headaches. The doctors advised Mike Tomlin that Ben shouldn't play, and Tomlin was the one who made the call, not Ben. It was Mike Tomlin that said, you are not playing. Ben very much wanted to play, but Tomlin said, that's what I get paid to do, make decisions like that.
Mendenhall wrapped up back at the 26-yard line by Tommy Kelly. One of the things Ben Roethlisberger did say was that Hines Ward was tremendously grateful that Tiger Woods came along and knocked him out of the headlines.
He really did. But you know what, I feel badly for Hines Ward, because I think a lot of people thought that he was questioning Ben Roethlisberger's physical toughness, and nothing could be further from the truth. You got to know both of these guys to know they have such respect for one another, but no one would ever question number 7's toughness. All you got to do is watch the guy play, and you know that's never been an issue.
Loss of 4 on that last play. 3rd and 11 for Roethlisberger. Going to throw the slant, almost picked off by Chris Johnson, who had it go right through his hands.
Well, it seems that Heath Miller broke his pattern off much more to the inside than Ben was expecting, and that ball sails well behind Miller. And like you say, Johnson has a great shot at this, and this could have been a pick 6 if he's able to handle that thing.
Higgins and Holland are deep for the Raiders. Sepulveda short, fair catch called for, and then they'll let the ball bounce. Gradkowski gonna throw over the middle, wide open. Higgins to the 45 of the Steelers, and a first down. Nice little play action by Bruce Gradkowski.
Well, they were aided greatly by the fact that William Gay, the corner, fell down. And he was lying on the ground, and that really aids a quarterback when it comes to finding an open receiver. But right down the middle of the field, nice tight spiral, but William Gay, who had the initial coverage on Johnny Lee Higgins, he slipped and fell.
Fargas tripped up back at the 49-yard line by Tyrone Carter.
Well, Tyrone Carter starting in place of Troy Polamalu, doing his best Polamalu interpretation of how you go upfield, square up, drive through a running back, and drop him.
We have a late flag on the field. Our referee today is Jerome Boger.
Delay of game. Offense, number 25 for spiking the football. The down, 5-yard penalty. The down counts. Second down.
Boy, you'd wonder what Justin Fargas was spiking the football about after losing ground on that play.
Well, he was probably upset that he got upended like that. But again, you can't put the officials in a position where they have to go chasing the football when they're supposed to be spotting it. So everybody knows the rules. That's just a temporary loss of discipline.
So now Gradkowski looking at a 2nd and 19 from his own 46. The pitch for Fargas. Cuts back midfield. And just about back to the original line of scrimmage at the 45-yard line.
Well, again, it's a running back by committee for the Raiders. Michael Bush, Justin Fargas, Darren McFadden. They all are involved in this. They rotate in and out. No one has stepped up and actually laid claim to the job, although Fargas has more carries than any of the others. McFadden's been injured, but there's a constant rotation, and Tom Cable would love to have one of them demand to stay in the game based on their performance.
Gradkowski, look out, on the move, throws it away, nobody there. James Ferrier lowered the boom on Gradkowski.
And that was a pocket with no integrity whatsoever, because right up the middle, look at all the pressure in the guard center gap, and James Ferrier comes in. He makes a Raider whiff, and then the cleanup by Nick Eason, but James Ferrier, nice swim move. Oh, and here comes a late flag. They're going to say Gradkowski wasn't out of the pocket.
Intentional grounding. Offense, number 10, number 5.
Yep, no receiver penalty over there whatsoever.
Well,
counts.
You can get away with that
down.
as long as you have left the tackle box, as long as you've gone laterally far enough. Gradkowski was still inside that tackle box. He did get it back to the line of scrimmage, but that's not enough. You have to be outside of the box to be able to throw it away like that where there's not a receiver anywhere close.
And did a fine job of hitting the yard marker.
Yes, he did. Unfortunately, he needed to be, it looked to me like at least one more yard farther to the outside.
Moelde Moore at his own 15-yard line for the kick coming from Shane Lechler, the best punter in the National Football League. Look at this one. Bouncing at the 4 and rolling into the end zone. From the 20-yard line, Heath Miller in motion. Quick pass out to the near side to Hines Ward, and Ward to about the 25-yard line.
Black 20. Black 20.
On 2nd and 4, it's Mendenhall finding a hole. As soon as we say it, here goes Mendenhall. 30, 20, dragged down at about the 15-yard line by Chris Johnson. The big problem for the Oakland Raider defense.
What did we say in our open against Dallas was how they were giving up big plays on the ground. They gave up 3 runs of over 30 yards in the game Thanksgiving, and here they go again. Mendenhall held in check, and then a gaping hole, a missed tackle, and a big explosive run play against the Raiders once again. Well, he helped his average with that one.
That was a 60-yard run. Just inside the 15-yard line on 1st down now to give us to Mendenhall, who is about to the 11-yard line where Gerard Warren and Thomas Howard make the stop. And Tom Cable tells us, it's really no big secret. That's been the problem.
Well, it's such little things. You talk to Tom Cable and he goes, it's just a guy coming in and taking on a block with the wrong shoulder. Instead of the left shoulder, he does it with the right shoulder. And he gives up gap integrity, and bang, there goes a big play. They're so close. They're so good on so many plays. And then on a handful of plays each game, they're just abysmal.
On 2nd and 6, it's Mendenhall again. And he bulls his way to the 5-yard line and very close to a 1st down. Tommy Kelly again in on the tackle.
Well, you saw a little something there about the leg strength of Rashard Mendenhall and his ability to keep driving. Tommy Kelly is a big guy at 300 pounds. This is a guy, I remember watching him at Illinois and how he just shredded the Big Ten. There was no question that he was going to be a #1 draft pick, and the Steelers very fortunate that he fell far enough down in that 1st round that they pounced on him.
2 tight ends in on 3rd and 1. Mendenhall spinning and reaching for the 1st down, and he's right at that marker. Let's see where they spot the ball.
Mr. Cable would like a close look at where they're going to spot this ball. Oh, it looks short.
And we're going to measure.
Looks like it's 2 inches would be my guess. And there's Willie Parker there, number 39, who's been relegated to a spectator. He had some turf toe issues. He missed a couple of games, and that's how it works sometimes. You're gone because of an injury, in comes someone else, and they don't give the job back. I was off by 8 inches.
Not far. Fast Willie Parker, they call him too. 4th down.
The crowd's starting to get excited, yelling to Mike Tomlin, let's go for it. Ben telling him, quiet down. We've already made our decision. We are going for it. Of course, this is a decision for Mike Tomlin that's made a lot easier by the fact that the Raiders, if they were to get the ball at this field position, chances are they're not going to do much with it.
Mendenhall is the deep back. Roethlisberger going to keep it and reach for the 1st down.
Boy, and that is something I just didn't think that the Steelers would do, run a quarterback sneak with Ben Roethlisberger coming off a concussion. That is a play.
Perhaps the thought is the Raiders wouldn't think it either.
Yeah, well, it surprised me, I can tell you that.
Raiders think they stopped him, but let's see where Jerome Boger and company spot the ball.
Well, he's going to bring the chains in one more time.
You know, Dan, that looks short still.
It looks to me like the ball's sitting either right where it was sitting before, or maybe not even as far. I don't think there's any way that this is a first down.
How about that Raider run defense?
Well, they might have made an inch or so. Well, once again, Pittsburgh way into the red zone. And when the first time down there, they had to settle for a field goal. And now they settle for nothing. Look at that. The guys on the white, they're not giving up much ground. But again, I'm really surprised at that call. I really am. Give the ball to Mendenhall. Don't risk Ben Roethlisberger putting his head in all of that humanity.
So Gradkowski and company now start from their own 5. And they'll start it off with Fargas on the ground for a couple out to about the 8. You know, Tom Cable was saying that since the return of Robert Gallery to the lineup, that the run game has been better. And in fact, over the last 4 games, the Raiders have been running for an average of 30 yards a game more than they had when Gallery wasn't in the lineup.
Yeah, they're still not running it great, but they are running it a lot better. Gallery broke his leg in the second week of the season. This is his 4th game back, and Greg is right. He really has solidified their offensive line.
On 2nd and 6, it's Fargas again, and Fargas spinning across the 10 to about the 12, and it'll be 3rd and about 3.
3rd down and 2.
And it looks like time is going to wind down before we get off another play here in the first quarter.
I'll say one thing about Justin Fargas. He does not go down on first contact, and the Raiders are really pleased with that. He is always picking up a couple extra yards after the initial hit.
They will not break the huddle and snap the football before time runs down, and we've come to the end of the first quarter. Look at Ben Roethlisberger on the sideline as the Raiders come to the line with a 3rd and 3 at their own 11-yard line. And Gradkowski. Spread field in front of him. Throwing deep down the near sideline, incomplete off the hands of Louis Murphy.
Oh, and Murphy had a step, and with a throw that was maybe 2 feet shorter, this could have been something else. Going against William Gay, he does a little slant and go, a little bit of a push off, but ooh, so close to being a touchdown for the Raiders. Oh, that ball, if it had just been 6 inches closer, Murphy could have grabbed that.
Here's Leckler, who got off a 58-yard punt his first time. High. Logan lost the football. And it looked like the Steelers recovered it at about the 40.
It looks like Anthony Madison was one of the guys right there.
It is Pittsburgh ball from the 39-yard line. Roethlisberger throwing over the middle, got his man inside the 35. Hines Ward, first down, Pittsburgh.
Boy, what a strike by Ben Roethlisberger on the post pattern. And a kind of a wild snap to the right, but Ben, being as big as he is, reached out in one hand to snatch on that snap. But again, it's just Hines Ward working against Branch. Branch is the safety. He's got deep middle. He picks him up, but can't get in to make the play. A beautiful pass from Ben Roethlisberger.
27-yard pickup. Willie Parker into the lineup now behind Roethlisberger. Play fake to him. Roethlisberger throwing, corner of the end zone. Holmes, touchdown.
Well, Ben demonstrating that he can do everything. Throw the post pattern to the middle of the field and then come back and throw the corner pattern to Santonio Holmes. Watch this pattern by Holmes. He gets the release to the inside. Nobody altered his route at all. And then when he goes back to the pylon again, you can't drop the pass in any better than Ben Roethlisberger did to Santonio Holmes on that one.
Steelers go 61 yards in 2 plays and 52 seconds. Jeff Reed for the extra point. And it's good. You'll understand if Tyvon Branch is feeling a little used right now. Big plays so far today by the Steelers. Mendenhall, a 60-yard run. And on this drive, Ward, a 27-yard reception. Santonio Holmes, a 34-yard touchdown reception. Gary Russell is deep. This will be Russell. No, taken instead by Michael Bush. And he's stacked up at about the 20-yard line. Heinz Field, number 51, Chris Morris centering the football. Samson Sattelli, we are told, has suffered an ankle injury, and his return today is questionable as Gradkowski drops to throw over the middle. Has his man across the 35 to the 36 is the tight end, Zach Miller. Darren McFadden, the deep man in the backfield.
Not your dad's Steelers have just grinded out.
McFadden with the handoff, spins out to about the 39-yard line. 2nd and 7. Gradkowski under pressure, eludes, and finally throws, and it is complete. No, incomplete.
Well, I think there's 2 flags back there because I think they grabbed the face mask of Gradkowski.
Or at least hit him in the head.
One or the other.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, defense, number 94, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
That's Lawrence Timmons who was guilty.
Well, Timmons, just an outstanding blitzer off the corner. First of all, he gets held a little bit, but right there he jumps up. He actually hit Gradkowski on the helmet, and then there's the hit, and then there's the grab of the face mask.
But there is one of the reasons why Bruce Gradkowski is the quarterback now for the Oakland Raiders.
No question, his pocket awareness, and he's much more elusive than Jamarcus Russell. Again, we did a couple Raider games when Russell played, and it's just hard to put into words how poorly they executed on offense. At times they just looked completely lost.
On 1st down, play fake to Fargas. Gradkowski keeping with a blocker in front of him. Multiple flags back at the line of scrimmage as Gradkowski is knocked out of bounds at about the 26-yard line. Let's check the flags. This is going to go against the Raiders.
Holding, offense, number 75, 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Left tackle Mario Henderson. His hold will negate a huge gain.
Pretty slick ball handling that time by Gradkowski. But now we know why he was able to get around that left edge so cleanly. Henderson is number 75 all the way on the left side there. You can see right there he's got his right arm, and you know it's actually a pretty good drive block as he just takes Brett Kiesel all the way down, but he did have the right arm wrapped around his midsection.
There's Jamarcus Russell. Meanwhile, 1st and 20. Gradkowski throwing far side of the field, and that is complete to Chaz Schillings. On 2nd and 16. McFadden just over midfield. This is the great Dick LeBeau, the defensive coordinator for these Pittsburgh Steelers.
71 years young.
Play clock winding down on Gradkowski in a hurry. Calls timeout. We were talking about Dick LeBeau, and he runs a defensive unit that doesn't perform too badly week in and week out, does it, Dan?
And right now the Raiders are in his wheelhouse at 3rd and 14. All the flexibility and the creativity now is on the defensive side. What are they going to come with?
Raiders have yet to convert a 3rd down today. Janikowski going to throw it. It's complete inside the 30-yard line to Johnny Lee Higgins.
Geez, one of the Steelers breaks through and almost gets his jersey pulled off. Might have been James Harrison. Harrison might get held more than any player in football. Here's what's going to happen downfield with Higgins. Kind of a little stutter and go with William Gay. And no safety help. It doesn't come in until very late.
And William Gay just slipped down and out of the picture.
Well, Gay, that is the second time today that Gay has slipped and fallen. He did it on the first possession as well. The first time the Raiders had the football.
First down at the Pittsburgh 28. And the give is to McFadden. That'll get nowhere.
The Raiders try and try and try to get Darren McFadden loose, and they just can't do it.
Well, Tom Cable told us yesterday when I asked him, what's the common thread when the Steelers have lost this season? He said you have to get after their cornerbacks and you be stubborn enough to keep running the football.
Well, the Raiders have to keep running the football because they're not explosive passing it. But this guy, he has such innate skills coming out of college, and he is a game breaker. He is a guy that is explosive by nature, but they have not been able to get him loose in his 2 years of Oakland.
This is Michael Bush. And he'll come to a stop at about the 26-yard line, and it'll be 3rd and 8.
The Raiders have so much invested in these high draft picks. In 07, Jamarcus Russell was the first player taken in the draft. Then McFadden is their #1 in 08. And then this year, Darius Haywood-Bay, a surprise pick as early as he went to the Raiders. Injured today, but only with 9 receptions on the season. It is a startling lack of production from their #1 picks of the last 3 years.
Now on 3rd and 8, the pitch for Bush, who's going to throw it downfield and overthrows everybody. Chaz Schilling was the closest Raider. Onto the field comes Sebastian Janikowski.
Well, again, the Raiders are in a position where don't leave anything in the playbook. And you can see right there, he was open. If that ball is properly thrown, if it's just out in front of Schillens where he can make any sort of a reaction to it at all, you've got a sure completion because he had clearance on Tyvon Carter.
Janikowski from 43 yards out. And the man they call Seabass.
How did he get that ball to make a left turn halfway there?
Once again, shots from the Western Pennsylvania Sports Museum, and there is Pride of Pittsburgh, our buddy Dan Marino.
Has Western PA ever turned out any decent quarterbacks?
No.
Maybe Johnny Unitas, Joe Namath, George Blanda, Joe Montana, Dan Marino, maybe a couple. What a
some
rich,
fairly decent throwers of the football.
What a rich football tradition here in Western PA.
Stephen Logan on the run at the 11. Back to the 25 and no further. Michael Huff led the charge. Oakland long on time of possession, but short on the scoreboard. With 8:11 to play here in the first half.
52. Watch him. Watch him. Watch him. Hold it.
Willie Parker in the backfield for the Steelers. And Parker across the 30 to about the 31. We had to ask the question of Tom Cable yesterday, Dan. Are you satisfied with the effort that you've been getting? Has your team given up? Do they give the effort? And he said, without question, the effort is there.
He just goes on about how proud he is of his team, how they've hung together, how they come to work every day at practice. Their effort is outstanding, and he has their back. He could not support them any more publicly than he did talking to us about it.
On 2nd and 5, it's Parker again, and Parker has running room. Penalty marker late.
Boy, you can hear those pads cracking clear up here.
And this is going to be against the Raiders. Once again, Jerome Boger is our referee.
Yeah. Illegal hands to the face. Defense, number 92. 5-yard penalty, add to the end of the run. First down.
And that's Richard Seymour, guilty of the call.
Well, again, this is power football at its very best right here. Here comes Trey Essex, the guard, pulling around, trailed by tight end David Johnson. And that was power against power because the Raiders had 8 guys up on the line of scrimmage, and still the Steelers took it to him.
First down now at the 45. Parker again trying to turn the corner, but dragged down at the line of scrimmage by Kirk Morrison.
Well, Morrison is the Raiders' leading tackler from the middle linebacker position, and he's really playing pretty well this year. Reed react. Justin Hartwig, the center, not able to get out on him, and flows to the football. But again, the Steelers beginning to pound away. Look at all the look at the packing of the line of scrimmage here by the Raiders.
Ward in motion the other way, and now pulls up. And now it's Miller in motion. Roethlisberger escapes the pocket. Penalty marker flies. Roethlisberger on the run and slides down at about the 35.
Well, Richard Seymour claiming that he was held. He's standing back at the 30-yard line,
all by himself,
taking over Jerome Boger's job and calling the game.
Holding. Offense, number 39. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
Willie Parker gets the call, holding against him.
Well, you suspect there might have been some holding when Richard Seymour needs help from a teammate putting his jersey and shoulder pads back in place. Somebody grabbed onto something. It is an all-out blitz up the middle. Well, I didn't see Willie Parker grab anybody.
That nullified a 19-yard run.
The crowd watched the replay on the video boards here, and they're reacting to the fact. I did not see a hold, certainly by Willie Parker.
So it's 2nd and 19. Roethlisberger throws out here, incomplete. Mike Wallace. Ball ruled that it hit the ground, and there is a lot of buzz about number 17, the rookie out of Mississippi.
Well, anytime you have great speed, there'll be great buzz. And Mike Wallace is fast, 4.3 fast. He can really scoot. He's learning this game, but all you look for in a rookie is, do you see progress? Do you see him starting to understand the nuances of playing professional football on a weekly basis? And the Steelers, to a man, say absolutely.
3rd and 19. And we get a whistle and a false start. Our statistician before the game, Joe Castellano, says the thing about Mike Wallace is he plays for 60 minutes.
I knew right where you were going.
He's been
False
thrown
start.
out of the booth.
Offense, number 68. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
That's Kemoyada.
He's the one who gets called out, but there was a lot of indecision and movement up on the offensive line. There was a lot of people on that line who weren't sure of the snap count.
3rd and a 4 piece for Roethlisberger.
Stay here, Mike. Don't move it.
They will drop back as Roethlisberger throws the short one. Santonio Holmes, and Holmes across the 40 and buried at about the 41-yard line.
Well, on 3rd and 24, Ben has no choice, especially against that defense where they only rushed 3 and dropped 8 into coverage. You're not going to get anybody past somebody in the secondary with 8 guys back there. So a dump off, well done there by the Raiders, who, you know, they're hanging around.
Johnny Lee Higgins back at his own 15-yard line for the kick from Daniel Sepulveda. And a good one. Higgins going to let it bounce, and it goes out of bounds at about the 5-yard line. Nice kick by Sepulveda. Wrong decision by Johnny Lee Higgins.
Well, right now, Pittsburgh favored by a couple touchdowns in this game, and 10-6. I would imagine folks in Heinz Field here are getting a little restless. They'd like to see their defense come up with a big play here.
From the 5, we get a whistle and a penalty.
False start. Offense, number 44. Has it into the goal. Still first down.
Tom Cable is 44? He's blocking fullback.
Well, Bruce Gradkowski, he loves coming home. He started 3 different times here with 3 different teams, but while it's fun to come home, this is not a great spot to be in right here.
Second time these Raiders have started at their own 5-yard line, and Fargus gets nowhere.
Gradkowski had about 15 or so of his teammates over to his house on Friday evening. His mom cooked up a really nice Italian dinner for everybody, and it was you know, he said a lot of my teammates really appreciated it because we had to play in Dallas on Thanksgiving, and we missed out being at home on Thanksgiving, and it was just a little taste of home for some of my teammates.
2nd and 12. Fargus. Oof. Lawrence Timmons lowers the boom. Fargus. Across the 10 to about the 11. And some of the players mixing it up a little bit on the field, and that's quickly broken up.
And a conservative 3rd down call there by the Raiders, who are going to let their defense try to make a stand, but that is that's pretty smart on their part.
And here is Shane Leckler, who got off a 58-yarder earlier. He has kicked at least a 50-yard punt in every game this season and in each game last year.
I have not seen a punter with his skills since Ray Guy.
It's not one of his best. Fair catch called for by Logan and made at his own 47-yard line.
The Steelers know how to close the deal. They have done it in years past. They've got confidence.
Roethlisberger over the middle, got his man, lost the football. It's going to be ruled incomplete. Well, Heath Miller had it and was hit and dropped it. Mike Huff made the hit.
You don't see that very often from Heath Miller. He is one of Ben's go-to guys, and he is just wide open. He makes his break to the inside, a good throw from Ben, and he just doesn't get it put away, and Ben's not used to seeing that. Not from Heath Miller. Good shot that time by Michael Huff.
It's like Michael Huff still feeling the effects. 2nd and 10.
He came off the field in the last series, so it looked like his shoulder might have been bothering him a little bit.
Roethlisberger pumps, throws, got his man. Inside the 40 is Mike Wallace, and that's a first down.
Well, that was strictly a case of how long Big Ben had to stand in the pocket. He went from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. I'm not sure how many progressions he went through. Only a 3-man rush, and they are absorbed by the Steeler offensive line. Ben didn't even have to throw it then. He could have kept it as long as he felt like.
Hey, watch draw here. Watch draw 166. Sir. Black 166. Hey, Black, watch the line. Watch draw your way. Black, watch draw your way.
Roethlisberger. Oh, what a catch by Santonio Holmes at the 30-yard line as we come up on the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play. Pittsburgh with all their timeouts remaining. Oakland has 2.
Raider has to be lined up off sides.
Roethlisberger pulls it down, spins out of trouble. Penalty marker flies, and Roethlisberger hit from behind as he let go.
They had to call that. I think it was Jay Richardson, number 98. That was so obvious from up here, lined up in the neutral zone.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Offside, defense number 98, lined up in the neutral zone. illegal hands to the face, offense number 68. Those fouls all set, replay, first down.
There's Jay Richardson, and Kemoeatu was the one guilty of the hand to the face.
Well, there's Kemoeatu. They see him right there. You can see him drive his hand right up into the face of Trevor Scott. And the Raiders would have marched the Steelers back if it wasn't for just a sloppy penalty of just not realizing you're lined up in the neutral zone. That's just not good.
First down at the 29. The give is to Noel Moore, and Moore follows blocking inside the 25 to the 21.
You see some players changing cleats. This is a new grass field here at Heinz Field, but this field got a workout yesterday, as this was the site of the Cincinnati Pitt game yesterday. One of the best college games I have seen in years.
They went up and down this field in the rain and snow.
Cincinnati beat Pitt 45-44.
Second and 3. Roethlisberger throws this side, scooped up, and the catch is made at the 17-yard line by Mike Wallace. As you look at Pittsburgh's red zone offense, we remind you both teams have 2 timeouts remaining.
That was a good job that time by Mike Wallace of running what Mike Tomlin, his head coach, calls a friendly pattern, a quarterback-friendly pattern. He's gotten so much better at coming back to the ball. That's exactly what he did that time. He came back 5 yards to make that catch.
First down from the 16. Roethlisberger with all kinds of time now to the end zone. Oh, what an interception made by Hiram Eugene. Wow.
And right there, the worst thing that happened to Ben was that he had too much time. He had so much time waiting for a pattern to come open. Look at him, look and look and look, and then he sees the traffic coming from right to left, but he doesn't see Eugene coming from left to right. Still, that was really well covered by Chris Johnson. I don't see where Ben had an opening, much less from either side. You know, he finally gets hit late. Jay Richardson comes in at the very end and drives Ben down.
Meanwhile, Hiram Eugene with his first interception of the year. Gradkowski play fake, deep drop, running out of time, and now throws over the middle and has his man Zach Miller. And Miller out across the 30, and a timeout is called. Yeah. Ben Roethlisberger and Hines Ward.
Well, I think I know one of the things that Mike Tomlin's going to talk to this team about. Twice now they have been in the red zone and come away with no points at all. One on an interception and one by turning it over on downs. They didn't make it on a 4th down attempt.
Oakland down to 1 timeout. Gradkowski eludes the rush. Penalty marker down. Gradkowski throws down the sideline. It is in and out of the hands of Johnny Lee Higgins. But I get the feeling this is going to come back anyway.
It wouldn't have mattered. James Harrison was held again. This one they decided to call. I'm telling you, nobody in the league gets held as regularly as Harrison.
Offense number 80. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
This time Zach Miller gets the call against him.
Well, James Harrison is such a pass rusher. Here he is right up here. And unfortunately for the Raiders, that they've got a tight end in Zach Miller trying to make that block, and he just can't do it. He hooks him. He keeps him from getting back to the inside, and that's why Gradkowski was able to get out of there. Harrison, I've seen him grabbed and tackled, and this guy gets manhandled.
First and 20 now for Gradkowski. 40 seconds on the clock. And they're just going to run things down here with McFadden across the 25-yard line. And 30 seconds to play. And the timeout now called. Those are the Gradkowski and Roethlisberger numbers. As Gradkowski looks at a 3rd and 15.
Well, the Raiders taking a timeout on the previous play, that really allowed Pittsburgh to get in and use their 2 remaining.
This is Fargas trying to turn the corner. 35. and very close to a first down. And Pittsburgh calls their final timeout. Mewelde Moore is deep. Leckler. And the catch is made at the 22-yard line by Moore with 7 seconds on the clock.
Looked like Moore lost that ball initially when he had to transition from the shade and then run into the sun. Look as he comes out of the shade right there, and now he's over into the sun. Man, I'm telling you what, that is, folks, if you've never tried to do that, I can't begin to tell you how hard that is to track that football coming out of the sky like that, but especially in those circumstances when you got to change from shade to light.
Roethlisberger will take a knee. The teams will go to the locker room. And these Pittsburgh Steelers looking to snap a 3-game losing streak. Boy, it's the inconsistency that's really bothered Tom Cable. He's registered wins over Kansas City, but look at the other 2 wins against Philadelphia and against Cincinnati.
Well, that is because defensively they are good enough to keep them in ball games even when their offense hasn't played up the par.
This is Gary Russell from the 3-yard line to the 20 and out to about the 26-yard line.
And the other ones did not go well. He hasn't led a team to a touchdown yet. He's been picked off 5 times, and he's been sacked 8 times in those games. So it hasn't been the friendly confines by any imagination for Gradkowski.
This is Justin Fargas, and Fargas for a couple. And Gradkowski, knowing full well what this Steeler defense is about, he was talking about his position coach, Paul Hackett. He said he keeps insisting incompletions aren't always bad, especially against a team like the Steelers.
No, it's the old adage that any drive that ends in a kick is a good drive. And it is one of the things that Gradkowski has given Cable and the Raiders since he replaced Jamarcus Russell. Much more in the way of ball security.
2nd and 9. Gradkowski short drop, quick pass outside, incomplete. Off the hands of Zach Miller. It'll be 3rd and 9.
Well, there's a look at the 2 different quarterbacks as starters. Gradkowski came in relief of Russell during a game when Russell got pulled, but just take a look at the 2 touchdowns and 9 interceptions over on this side here for Jamarcus Russell. That's just not getting it.
And you mentioned in the first half, Dan, we asked Tom Cable, is this a temporary thing? Could Jamarcus Russell come back? And he said, no, this was something that we're planning on now for the rest of the season. This is Bruce Gradkowski's team.
Look at that, only 1 Steeler in a 3-point stance.
Gradkowski stepping up, sidearms it across the 35 to the 37 and complete to Zach Miller for a first down.
Well, this is a good sharp throw by Gradkowski, who gets some good protection by his guys up front. They bought him enough time. Miller makes himself a target, and LaMarr Woodley with the coverage. Woodley is certainly much more comfortable rushing the quarterback than he is back in coverage, but he was there. He had decent coverage. That was just well executed by the Raiders.
A little Don Drysdale delivery from Gradkowski. Escaped 1, escaped twice, on the move, throwing for Johnny Lee Higgins and overthrew it.
Gradkowski's pass intended for Higgins, incomplete.
Again, that is what Bruce Gradkowski brings to the table for the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah, he's got escapability, and he's just got some awareness. Again, coming in from behind James Harrison. How many times do you see James Harrison disrupting a play? And how close have the Raiders been a couple different times with big plays in the passing game? That's the second time that Gradkowski's had someone open and the ball has just been a shade overthrown.
Remember, Gradkowski came into this game today with only 99 pass attempts this year. And a timeout is called. 35 sacks on the season. James Harrison, that man leads the way with 10 of them. He was the NFL Defensive Player of the Year a season ago.
And even if he's not sacking the quarterback, he's knocking him down, or he's disrupting, or he's drawing a holding penalty. He is chaos on feet.
On 2nd and 10, Gradkowski rolling, in trouble, eludes Harrison. On the move, looking for the first down, and there's a late penalty flag.
Well, a good example of Gradkowski, and he's talking to Harrison right now.
You almost got me.
There's one thing about Bruce Gradkowski. He is instantly likable when you sit with him.
Holding, offense, number 19, 10-yard penalty, replay, 2nd down.
That penalty is on Todd Watkins, and Tom Cable sees his guys again shoot themselves in the foot.
Well, James Harrison, they were counting on him flowing the other direction, and he did not oblige. While he didn't make the tackle, he forced Gradkowski back to the inside. And again, give a lot of credit to number 5. He shows some real elusiveness. It's pretty easy to see if you watch the Raiders at all this season. You can see why Tom Cable made the move. There's a certain spark that Gradkowski has provided.
2nd and 20. Good protection. Got his man, 40-yard line. Chaz Schillens for a first down.
Well, Chaz Schillens, who missed so much of the season earlier with a broken foot that he sustained in training camp, the Raiders were hoping that he was going to come back weeks before he did. You know, I talked about knocking the quarterback down. Here's James Harrison, even got his face mask grabbed a little bit, and just a little friendly reminder that I'm
still here.
Yeah, that I'm in your space.
Darren McFadden on the field now, in the backfield. Gets the pitch. Gonna look to throw it. Back to Gradkowski, and Gradkowski in trouble and goes down.
Geez, who could have possibly been out there to disrupt this play? Let's take a wild guess. Might it have been James Harrison? And some guys just have a nose for the football. Darren McFadden, of course, played a lot of quarterback at Arkansas. He throws a strike, but who's there? There's James Harrison. I'm telling you what, when they drew this up and practiced this, they did not plan on 92 sniffing it out like that and destroying the play.
2nd and 26 for Gradkowski. Throw coming across the field off the hands of Schillens. 3rd and 26.
Well, Gradkowski, a good pocket to sit in there, and that is just a beautiful pass. You can't throw it any better than that, and that has been a problem for the Raiders receivers all season long.
Meanwhile, we talked about the Raiders insistent on running the football. They have run for 74 yards. The Steelers are an NFL best 74.9 rushing yards allowed per game.
This is a potential moment for Gradkowski.
Here they come. Gradkowski on the move and throws it away. And he got crushed back at the 30-yard line by Lawrence Timmons.
Again, Dick LeBeau dials one up. Lawrence Timmons comes through the guard tackle gap, and there's just not enough people to account for him. This is where the odds are just heavily stacked. You see him slide right in there. Langston Walker tries to come off late, tries to rub off a block. Gradkowski, that 3rd and 26, a no-go against the guys in yellow and black.
Leckler hoping to boom another one here, and he does. Oh, look at this one. Bounces at the 3 and into the end zone from the 20-yard line. Roethlisberger gives to Mendenhall. Mendenhall tries the right side, and he's out to about the 22-yard line. Robert Gallery, we are told, having a back issue. He is out of the game.
Yeah, he went into the locker room to be looked at in there by the training staff, and with the injury to Satelli at center, the Raiders only suited up 2 backup offensive linemen, and they're both now been pressed into full-time duty. Chris Morris at center, and Langston Walker now at left guard.
Solid. Set. Black 20.
2nd and 7 for Roethlisberger. Give once again to Mendenhall straight up the middle, and at the 30-yard line, depending on where they spot it, it may come up just short of a first down.
Oh, and how close was that? Rashard Mendenhall gets tripped up pretty darn close to the line of scrimmage. Morrison gets inside there, and wow, if he was able to somehow maintain his balance, he would have easily converted the first down.
Solid.
3rd and about half a yard. Pittsburgh 0 for 4 on 3rd downs today, but they lead on the scoreboard 10-6. Mendenhall. First down out to about the 33.
Giving up the chance at a touchdown and settling for a field goal, but to be there twice and to come away with no points whatsoever, uncharacteristic.
Mendenhall trying to bounce it outside. And Chris Johnson finally corrals him at about just across the 35-yard line. You know, talking with Ben yesterday, it was interesting. No wonder he enjoys playing it so much. He and his offensive coordinator, Bruce Arians, he says, we think a lot alike. Just as he's about to call something at the line, it's exactly the same play that's called into him.
Well, I said to Ben, you must really love the no huddle, because I know that you get to call your own plays when you're in the no huddle. And he goes, I really like the way Bruce calls a game. You're right. He said, we seldom disagree on anything. He said, we are really of the same mind.
Keeping it on the ground on this drive. That's the 7th consecutive run. And Mendenhall brought down at about the 36-yard line.
Bruce Arians is in his 3rd year here as the offensive coordinator. And again, it's such a luxury for a quarterback to enjoy that kind of continuity. Just ask Peyton Manning what it's meant to him to have Tom Moore at his side for all those years.
Weldy Moore is into the backfield now on 3rd and 7. Raiders looking to make a stand here on 3rd down. Under pressure, spins out of trouble, gives to Moore, and Moore tripped up at the 42-yard line. He's going to be just short, it would appear, of a first down.
Well, if Ben Roethlisberger can do anything, he can evade a blitzer. Here comes Mitchell, buys himself just a little more time. But again, that's a good open field tackle there by Tyvon Branch. If the Raiders offensively were anywhere near as good as their defense, they would not be a 3-8 football team.
Sepulveda kicking to Higgins. Fair catch called for and made at about the 18-yard line. And he got knocked down. There's no flag. Statue of Art Rooney Jr., the Rooney name, one of the great names in NFL annals. Welcome back, everyone. First down, Gradkowski to throw. Running out of time. Goes down at the 15-yard line. Lamar Woodley. 2nd and 12. Gradkowski under pressure got rid of it. And being hit as soon as he made the catch is Tony Stewart. And Lamar Woodley's been all over the field.
Well, Woodley got the sack on the previous play. That time he dropped off into coverage, but again, untouched right up the middle. Here comes Lawrence Timmons. But that was good work by Gradkowski, floating backwards, delivering a serviceable ball to the receiver. But again, the coverage just clamps down when they know they got the blitz. They know the ball's coming out quickly.
And you know, you have 2 backup linemen in there on the offensive line for the Raiders. You get the feeling that the Steeler defense has gotten the scent.
Somebody's going to come up the middle untouched.
3rd and 11. Here they come. Gradkowski had it batted back into his face. He had Higgins on the slant and the ball never got there.
Well, William Gay, a corner. We've seen linebackers, we've seen safeties, and now it's a corner. There's Gay at the bottom of your screen. He's going to loop inside Timmons, goes right between Timmons and Woodley, but again, untouched. Gradkowski knows he's got the blitz coming. He's got to try to get rid of it, but nice job by Gay of elevating, getting up and knocking it down.
4th straight punt for the Raiders. Leckler floats this one. Logan, fair catch called for and made at the 42-yard line. Well, we have the players coming back or remaining on the field now, and Jerome Barger now will take a timeout. Roethlisberger under center as we welcome you back to Pittsburgh with just under 5.5 to play in the third, and Ben to throw. Sideline. That's complete to Holmes, and Holmes brought to a stop at about the 48 or 49 yard line. Pittsburgh defense taking a breather. They have done decent work today.
Well, again, this is a Raiders offense that just doesn't score touchdowns. When you only score 10 points a game, you're not a threat. Troy Polamalu sitting this out again. This is the 7th game this year that he's missed because of 2 separate knee injuries.
Here's Mendenhall, and Mendenhall pulls his way very close to a first down across midfield and into Oakland territory.
You know, we touched on it earlier that this Raiders defense I think has, during the course of this season, they've had a couple games where they got overrun. But by and large, they have played well enough to be competitive and to win a lot more games than they have. They've just gotten very little production from their offense, virtually none. And yet they seem to be cohesive in the locker room.
Third and short yardage. And we get a whistle and a timeout. Pittsburgh uses a timeout here. Their first of the second half. Hard to compete that way. Mendenhall first down.
Mendenhall, the ball carrier.
Yeah, good surge there by the Steelers offensive line.
Roethlisberger to throw on first down. Over the middle. Got his man at about the 42-yard line, and that's Santonio Holmes.
Well, you can't get on a receiver much quicker than Michael Huff got there, but you know, when it's this shallow crossing pattern like that, and then it's so beautifully thrown by Big Ben, you'd have to be Superman to keep that from being a completion. But no positive yardage after the catch by Santonio Holmes because of that tight coverage by Michael Huff.
2nd and 5. And the Steelers looking pretty methodical right now with under 3 minutes to play in the third quarter. It's Mendenhall. And Thomas Howard helped stiff that one.
Well, Thomas Howard, he played that play on the Pittsburgh side of the ball. There he is, the 53, lower left. Take a look at that. There's no one accounting for Howard, and he reads it right, shoots the gap, and makes a play in the backfield.
Loss of 1 on the play, 3rd and 6. The way this game is going, you would think the Raiders have to make a stand here.
Well, an overload on the right side offensively for the Steelers.
Roethlisberger pulls it down, now throws and hits his man. Penalty marker flies. Hines Ward with the catch, and let's check the flag. And it's going to be against the Raiders.
Well, you could see right there that Ben initially wanted to throw the ball to Santonio Holmes on the out. That was his first choice, and then when there was jumped by the Raiders, he changed.
Contact. Defense number 98. That penalty decline. The result of the play is the first down.
Well, without that penalty, the Steelers picked up the first down anyway, but that was a really good sequence of events by Ben Roethlisberger, pulling it down, wanting to go to Holmes, and then finding the open guy downfield.
Ben Roethlisberger has gone over the 3,000-yard passing mark for the 4th straight season. Mendenhall spinning to about the 27.
Mendenhall. Gain of 2, 2nd down
Well,
and 8.
in this age of throwing the football, there once was a time where a 3,000-yard season by a quarterback was cause for universal publicity and praise, but if you're a starting quarterback in this league and you don't throw for 3,000 yards, there's something wrong.
We come up on 1 minute to play here in the third. Mendenhall again. And looking for running room and dancing to the 25.
Mendenhall to the 25.
Boy, that shot of Tom Cable a few moments ago, the look of frustration on his face. The game is tough enough, Dan, and yet he has some guys out there, while they're playing hard, they're also, as I said it earlier, shooting themselves in the foot.
Well, the Raiders just aren't good enough to beat themselves on the road. They just can't have more mistakes than their opponent and think they're going to win. But you just saw, like on that last play, they've got guys flying to the football. They've got effort. They've got guys that are hitting hard. These guys have not mailed it in by any stretch.
Roethlisberger under pressure, and he's going to go down at about the 36-yard line. Trevor Scott.
Well, give John Marshall, the defensive coordinator, credit. He's doing his own Dick LeBeau. A little fake there by Trevor Scott, acting like he's going to drop off in coverage. And this is a guy just making his second start at weak side linebacker.
Back for the start of the fourth quarter, and Jeff Reed about to try a 53-yard field goal. It would tie his career long.
Well, and this is into what I think is the really squirrely end of Heinz Field, the open end facing the river, and the winds do some wacky things, although there doesn't seem to be a whole lot going on now with the wind.
If he doesn't make it, Oakland gets good field position out of this. Kick is away, and he's going to miss it. Left.
Well, again, I think that's a decision that Mike Tomlin makes because of how confident he is in his defense being able to handle this Raider offense.
You remember earlier, Dan, that's the same movement of the ball that Sebastian Janikowski got.
But let's be realistic. If they're playing New England or Indianapolis or Cincinnati or somebody like that, they punt that ball away and try to pin them way inside their 20-yard line.
Look at the time of possession.
A massive advantage for the Raiders.
Raiders start from their own 43-yard line. Justin Fargas. Maybe 2 yards. Brett Kiesel with the stop.
Well, woe be to the prohibitive favorite who clings to a 4-point lead in the fourth quarter.
Woe be?
Well, it's just not. I'll guarantee that Mike Tomlin right now is a tad uneasy. He'll never show it. But this is a football team that I think most everyone thought would have put away by now. And the Raiders are acquitting themselves quite well.
2nd and 8. Going to give it to Fargas for a yard. Mike Tomlin's emphasis, as he explained to us yesterday, was not give up the big play. He said if you give up big plays, offenses that are struggling can beat you.
Well, explosive plays are what the National Football League is all about, both giving them and getting them. We documented earlier. You see the 10+ going on today. We showed you earlier how that'd been a big problem for the Raiders over the course of this 09 season.
Gradkowski needs to deliver here on 3rd and 7. Here they come. He throws over the middle, and that is complete to Miller, but he is right at the first down marker. Let's see where they spot this one. You got to measure that, don't you?
Tom Cable certainly seems to think they picked it up. Did this ball get tipped at all?
Yes,
it sure did. It grazed the fingertips of Ziggy Hood.
And we are going to get a measurement.
Ziggy got a pinky on it, but it wasn't quite enough. That's when a quarterback has got a little juice on the ball, when a guy can hit it like that and it still has enough on it to find its way to the intended receiver.
Now let's play what if, Dan. Tom Cable doesn't know if he's going to get down this far again.
Oh, he'll go for it. He did it already. He's done it already in this game.
Doesn't have to. Yes, he does have a decision to make. 4th and that much.
What does he have to lose?
It'll be a gain of 6. Brings up 4th down and less than a yard.
And he sends Gradkowski and his offense back onto the field.
If you're going to do it in the first quarter, why wouldn't you do it in the 4th quarter?
Steeler fans jump up behind their defense. Justin Fargas is the running back behind Gradkowski. Going to keep it and sneak for the first down.
Well, the Steelers all but gave that to the Raiders. Did you see how far back their linebackers were off the ball? If you're only going to defend that with the guys on the line of scrimmage, your defensive linemen, why not quarterback sneak it? There's no way you don't pick that up.
1st and 10, Oakland ball.
Oakland now 2 out of 2 on 4th down conversion attempts today.
You see the linebackers, Timmons and Ferrier were 3 yards off the ball. That's all but conceding a quarterback sneak.
So the Raiders now 1st down at the Pittsburgh 46. And we get a timeout.
Keep in mind for the Steelers, of their 5 losses that they've suffered here in 09, they held a lead in the 4th quarter in 4 of those games.
Gradkowski in trouble, throws it away.
The Elton John version was spectacular.
Not bad. Fargas cuts it back, finds running room to the 38. Always tough when you take your act on the road in the NBA. NBA, NFL, and NBA too. 3rd and 3. Gradkowski pulls it down and he's going to run for it. Has the 1st down and down at the 32-yard line. 1st down, Raiders.
And again, Bruce Gradkowski continues to demonstrate the faith that his head coach Tom Cable put in him making the switch. There's just an energy, but there's the ability to do that. You see with the cock there of the throw, he got James Ferrier off the ground. That meant that Ferrier wasn't in a position to make a tackle. That was really well done. You cock the arm, you fake the throw, you get a defender in the air, away you go.
Oakland's deepest penetration today is the Pittsburgh 26-yard line. They're at the 31. Fargas inside the 30 to the 28. James Ferrier with the tackle.
I remember when Fargas first came into the league. You know, he was a speed guy, and he was a guy that, you know, I thought was more of a finesse runner. And it has been really interesting to watch him become a very physical running back. This guy, he lowers his shoulder, and if there's no hole there, even though he's not a 240-pound guy, he gets the most out of it.
2nd and 7. Gradkowski with protection. Short pass coming across the middle is Higgins, and Higgins inside the 25 to about the 23.
Well, there's a matchup that the Raiders like, getting a wide receiver on a linebacker, and that's what you'll get a lot of times on a crossing pattern. And Timmons, there's no way he can run with Johnny Lee Higgins. He showed great speed in catching up to him, but that's asking the impossible if you expect a linebacker to be able to be in a trailing position and cover enough ground to actually like bat that ball away. Never going to happen.
Gradkowski 12 out of 20 for 131 yards. 3rd and 2. McFadden, the deep back. The pitch for McFadden. Inside the 20 to the 16-yard line and a 1st down.
Well, there was a good collision. Ryan Clark and McFadden. Listen to this. I think that play, that pitch, is so hard to defend, especially someone who has the kind of speed that Darren McFadden has. He can get to the edge so quickly.
Deepest penetration of the day for the Raiders. 103 rushing yards on the afternoon for Oakland. Gradkowski throwing, end zone, touchdown! Chaz Schilens.
Outstanding fake and movement with the football by Bruce Gradkowski. What a beautiful fake of the pitch to Fargas. Schilens working across in the end zone, and you can see that Tyrone Carter is just not in a position to make a play on this at all. Schilens has him by a couple of yards, and Carter no factor.
Schilens, his first receiving touchdown of the season. Janikowski for the extra point. 8:21 to play in the fourth quarter. Remember, we wondered about the long field goal attempt by Jeff Reed. It didn't work. The Raiders took over in very good field position and go 57 yards in 11 plays to grab a 13-10 lead. Logan at the 2. 20, breaks it outside. 40 and out of bounds. Another good return by Stephen Logan. Pittsburgh defense that heard some boos as it left the field. Oakland with a 13-10 lead. 8:12 to play here in the fourth quarter.
Some hearty boos all the way to the bench.
Roethlisberger, play fake. Time, over the middle. Incomplete to Santonio Holmes. Holmes, 25, 20, 10. Inside the 5, first and goal. How in the world was that completed to Holmes?
Santonio Holmes gets away from press coverage on the line of scrimmage. Stanford route lost sight of the football, but what a strike from Ben Roethlisberger. And then Holmes picks up a huge block downfield. But that was a completion because Big Ben threw a laser.
64 is done.
Tight left.
Play clock down to 4, down to 3. Roethlisberger got the snap, gives it to Mendenhall, and he is outside for the touchdown.
Greg, that was a great call, changing in midstream, because it looked like he was completely stacked up and stopped. And somehow Rashard Mendenhall kept his feet moving, spinning like a top. Right there, bounces off his own guy, does a complete 360, and then gets the edge. By the time Branch makes a tackle, he's 2 yards in the end zone. What an individual effort by Rashard Mendenhall. And how's that for getting back out in front in a hurry?
How disheartening does that have to be to the Oakland Raiders? Reed's extra point is good. Along with our producer, Mark Wolf, our director, Bob Fishman, and the rest of our terrific CBS Sports crew, Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf, back in Pittsburgh, where Oakland held the lead for exactly 68 seconds. The Steelers have come back to grab the lead 17-13, and Gary Russell is deep. Russell will get a return from the 6. And not much of one, as he's wrapped up at the 15-yard line by Ryan Mundy. Gradkowski from his own 16. Fargas, right side. Little crease out across the 20 to about the 22.
You know, we talked about a block, and it's time to hand out some props, and those props go to Mike Wallace. 17 right here. Watch him come back. Right there, he picks off Stanford route, then falls into Mike Mitchell, and Holmes is able to pick up another 25 yards. That's nice work by the rookie from Ole Miss.
How about Santonio Holmes? 7 catches, 129 yards, and a touchdown today.
And as the Raiders have been doing all year, big plays have been their undoing.
On 2nd and 4, Gradkowski throws it outside. That is complete and wrapped up is Tony Stewart.
Well, Lamar Woodley made sure that there was no forward progress after catching that ball.
Line of scrimmage is the 25, and it'll be 3rd and 2.
What a complete football player Lamar Woodley has become. Wow, who would ever imagine an outside linebacker playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers becoming a dominant player? It's like it's automatic. What a legacy and what a collection of Pro Bowlers and Hall of Famers that played outside linebacker for the Steelers.
3rd and 2. Play fake to Fargas. Gradkowski going to go deep, down the middle, has his man at the 35. Louis Murphy to the 20, to the 10, and looking for the end zone. Touchdown! Oh my goodness! 75 yards.
Mike Tomlin is stunned. Man coverage, no safety help deep, and the rookie Louis Murphy is wide open.
Janikowski for the extra point. It bears repeating. Mike Tomlin told us yesterday, if you give up big plays, offenses that are struggling can beat you.
Well, take a look at the play action work by Gradkowski. No rush at all, but Ike Taylor, who's locked up man coverage with Louis Murphy. There's no one has the deep middle for the Steelers, and he is in a trail position all the way. Now Taylor's actually playing this like he's expecting some kind of safety help. You could see him turn his shoulders. He took away the outside. He's inviting Murphy to the inside, and then when he takes it, there's nobody there. So it's impossible to tell whether Ike Taylor was expecting a safety that wasn't there or if he just played poor technique from the beginning. All right, take a look at it here as we look at it from up high. But there's Taylor at the top of your screen. But see him turn? He's giving the inside to Murphy. And there is no deep middle help at all by the Steelers.
After a fairly mundane 3.5 quarters today, we've had 3 lead changes in the last 2 minutes, 53 seconds. That kick goes through the end zone.
Well, you're not surprised when you see an offense that has players like Santonio Holmes and Hines Ward and Ben Roethlisberger make a big play. But it's a stunner when you're victimized by that dreaded passing combination of Bruce Gradkowski to Louis Murphy.
And Oakland has twice as many points on the board than they usually put up. Roethlisberger blitzed, escapes once, twice, over the middle, got his man. Out to the 48-yard line is Heath Miller. First down, Pittsburgh.
Roethlisberger's pass complete to Heath Miller.
Well, Ben was able to complete that because of a great blitz pickup by Mendenhall. See him come back to the left side, and he picks off the blitzing corner, Asamoah, and that allowed this completion.
What did Richard Seymour tell us yesterday? Ben Roethlisberger does a great job of taking a broken play and turning it into backyard football.
Well, kudos to Mendenhall. He made that play happen.
Mendenhall here, spinning to the 45.
Mendenhall, the ball carrier.
He has that spin down to a science, doesn't he?
Well, he just keeps getting better and better. You know, frustrating rookie year last year. IR most of the year, but this, you don't coach this. Stutter step, shoulder shake. All of a sudden, Tyvon Branch is just grasping air.
101 yards and a touchdown on the day for Mendenhall. 2nd and 2. Roethlisberger in the flat. Hines Ward knocked out of bounds, but not before he gets a first down at the 42.
That's what a veteran receiver does. He runs his pattern. He knows exactly what he needs to make the chains move. Don't make him come out and do a measurement. You know exactly where to run the stem, then make the sideline break.
4:03 to play.
3 right, TK. 3 right.
Raider secondary very deep. Roethlisberger throwing complete inside the 25-yard line to Santonio Holmes. Another first down.
To the Oakland 21.
Well, Ben, you see, look at the eyes. He's working the right side of the field. The pump fake moves and influences the secondary, and Holmes breaking back to the inside. Boy, Santonio Holmes is the go-to guy. Nice hands catch. And boy, would the Steelers like to put this in the end. Remember, this is the end of the field where field goals can get strange.
Pitch for Mendenhall. And hit and dropped at the 20-yard line. Santonio Holmes, a career high 150 yards receiving today. 149 to be exact.
Boy, and Branch came up and lowered it on that one. Big hit.
Coming up on 3 minutes to play in the fourth, as the Steelers, as we have noted, pretty much fighting for their playoff lives today.
Well, this rivalry, this storied rivalry between the Raiders and the Steelers has seen some big hitting games over the year. Well, this one hasn't disappointed in the contact department. They've been thudding on each other from start to finish.
2nd and 9. Busting play. Roethlisberger to the 11. And that looks like the first down.
Well, you are what you are. It doesn't matter whether he's coming off a game that he didn't play in because of a concussion. This is where instincts take over. Somehow a screw up between Ben and Mendenhall. Do you think it ever crossed his mind, I didn't play last week because I had a concussion? No way. A football player is a football player.
And we get the 2-minute warning coming up. Well, the last 6 minutes and 21 seconds has seen a point explosion. First down from the 11. Roethlisberger throwing, Hines Ward, touchdown.
You can see Chris Johnson, the corner, complaining about what, I'm not sure, other than getting beat for a touchdown.
Jeff Reed for the extra point. And it's good. (24-20) Pittsburgh.
Well, you can see right there what he's complaining about. He says that Hines Ward grabbed his face mask.
He looked like he might have gotten pulled a little bit.
Yes, and pulled himself past. Let's look here.
Oh, he did.
He did. Hines Ward got his left hand into the face of Chris Johnson. Well, that is, you know, that whether that's on purpose or not, who knows? Contact, you know, Johnson's trying to get the jam. But I don't think the result was that Hines Ward ends up being wide open on Chris Johnson. And you can see what Johnson was complaining about.
But it didn't hurt. Hines Ward, 5 catches for 61 yards and the go-ahead touchdown with 1:56 to play.
This guy loves everything about the game of football, and that's why he was really hurt after being heavily criticized for the things he said about Ben Roethlisberger last week.
I'd say they're patched up.
Oh, that's not a problem. But the man loves the game. He loves the Steelers. He loves his teammates. But boy, don't you just like a guy that plays it the way Hines Ward plays this game.
Gary Russell on the run at the 16-yard line, takes it back the other way. penalty marker flies as he spins down at about the 25-yard line.
Flag on the play.
During the return, holding, offense number 54. 10-yard penalty.
Let's go back
First
and look
down.
at this one more time. Ward's trying to get the release. There's the jam. And you can see that Chris Johnson missed on his jam. He went to hit Ward in the chest, and he missed it. He missed it altogether, but it did look like the left hand of Hines Ward ended up into the face mask of Chris Johnson. Certainly that's incidental. The biggest thing that went wrong for Johnson is that he went for the jam, and he missed it with both hands.
Now the penalty on Sam Williams on the kickoff backs Gradkowski up to his own 12. 4 lead changes in the last 6:25. Gradkowski going to go down the sideline. Higgins makes the catch out of bounds, just short of the 30-yard line, and a first down.
Well, Johnny Higgins, let's have a little less celebrating and let's get back and get the call from your quarterback. There's still a ways to go and a short time to do it.
Remember, Higgins playing in place of Darius Hayward-Bay.
In this environment against this defense, regardless of how this game ends up, the hometown kid, Bruce Gradkowski, has played pretty darn well.
From the 29. Gradkowski stepping up, throwing deep. And it didn't look like Todd Watkins was even looking.
Well, no, that's Johnny
Lee Higgins,
that's
excuse me.
Johnny Lee Higgins, who quit on the pattern. He just gave up on the pattern. My, this is a guy that was just celebrating a minute ago, making a reception on the far sideline. He's a decoy, and you know what?
Guess what, Johnny Lee? You're not a decoy.
I got news for you, kid. Play it all the way out. Yep, it looks foolish in this situation when you give up on it.
2nd and 10. Gradkowski throws, incomplete. Pass intended for Chaz Schillings. 3rd and 10.
And Schillings is hurt. Well, that was a low snap. Gradkowski had to go down and get it. And this pass, as you can see, trying to get it to Schillings is way behind him. And he goes after it and takes a shot right in the face by Ryan Mundy. Look how his neck gets bent back. Schillings did get up, and he's over on the Raiders sideline there.
3rd and 10.
That was not a good throw from Gradkowski, way behind Schillings.
Here they come. Gradkowski throwing, crossing pattern. That's complete, and that's a first down across the 40 to Watkins. The second-year man out of BYU. Clock continues to move. Oakland has 1 timeout remaining.
Well, Watkins tried like the devil to get to the sideline, and he got tackled about a yard short of it. And that's costing the Raiders some valuable time.
65 seconds to play. Gradkowski throwing it out of bounds. That'll stop the clock at 53.
And the Raiders had to waste a timeout early in the 3rd quarter offensively when they just didn't have a formation in the right place. And boy, that's a timeout they would very much like to have at their disposal right now.
The 20 points on the board for the Raiders ties a season high for them, and guess what? It's not going to be enough to win a game for them here today.
Well, it ties a season high, and it doubles their average. Their average is only 10.5 a game. This is an explosion for them offensively.
2nd and 10. Gradkowski throwing over the middle, got his man inside the 40-yard line, and that's Louis Murphy.
And Gradkowski is just steamrolled at the moment of throwing the football. And we've got an injured player. That's William Gay.
First down, Oakland at the Pittsburgh 40. Bruce Gradkowski, hometown boy from Pittsburgh, putting on a show. Gradkowski going to throw over the middle, almost intercepted by Joe Burnett, the rookie out of Central Florida.
Oh boy. Joe Burnett obviously does not have an interception in the NFL and will never have a better opportunity. That wasn't even close. That hit him in the chest, and I'm not sure he ever even got a hand on the ball.
2nd and 10.
That is the old adage. The reason they're defensive backs is because they can't play wide receiver. They were identified early on as not having good hands.
Gradkowski throwing deep.
That looks like a punt.
And coming down with it is number 18, Louis Murphy. Made the catch inside the 20.
Right in front of Ike Taylor again. It's the Ike Taylor-Louis Murphy matchup. How do the Steelers mistime that so much? Ike Taylor, Louis Murphy just had the ball skills and the timing to go get it. He got the ball at its highest point, but that looked more like a punt than a pass.
Murphy 3 catches for 117 yards today.
Oh, that was really played poorly by Pittsburgh.
Play clock down to 3, down to 2, down to 1, and they're going to take a penalty. Delay of game.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Raider sideline up in arms. Didn't think they got a fair shake on the game clock or on the play clock.
Well, the play clock starts. It starts immediately upon the conclusion of the prior play. And you know, a lot of times when something unusual like that happens, there's just a little standing around. A few extra seconds are wasted in trying to get back to the huddle.
Now it's 1st and 15. Gradkowski inside the 5, incomplete. Penalty marker flies.
Ryan Clark got there early.
It'll be 1st and goal for the Raiders.
Looked to me like Ryan Clark tried to go right through the receiver.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 29. Half a distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Well, they call Ryan Mundy on a personal foul. Johnny Lee Higgins is the receiver. There's Clark.
Ooh.
Oh, and then Mundy comes in late, so they did not call Clark, even though I thought he got there early. Clark makes contact, but there is the personal foul. You're not allowed to lead with your head against a receiver like that. That will draw the penalty.
Oakland has gone 77 yards in 1:34. Gradkowski under pressure, throwing to the end zone. It is incomplete. 15 seconds on the clock.
Well, free safety Ryan Clark involved in this again. Watch Clark, number 25. He gets in there, a little contact, but he cuts off the route. But look at that. The ball ending up in the hands of Watkins. And then I believe Clark knocks it out on the way down. Yep, he gets a left hand on it and knocks it away. Right here.
2nd and 10 at the 11. 15 seconds on the clock. Play clock down to 5. Gradkowski wants the snap and gets it. Here comes the blitz. Gradkowski up, throws, touchdown! Louis Murphy with 9 seconds to play.
Mike Tomlin is in total disbelief. Total disbelief. And that penalty on Monday, how huge could it be? And the Steelers are on the verge of losing 4 games in a row.
The Oakland Raiders came in with 10 touchdowns all year long. They scored a touchdown on the third straight drive here in the fourth quarter. Janikowski's kick is good, and the Raiders lead it 27-24.
All right, let's take a look at this. Again, Bruce Gradkowski has to move around, but not under real duress. He's got a pocket to step up into. There was no pressure coming up the middle. He floats it over the top of the head of his tight end, Zach Miller. I think Miller thought that ball was coming to his way right off the bat. And again, the hometown kid from Seton LaSalle High School here in Pittsburgh. And this loss is devastating to Pittsburgh.
Tom Cable, you betcha.
And Mike Tomlin, the disappointment for Mike Tomlin is that now the Steelers, on the verge of going to 6-6, held a fourth quarter lead in 5 of those 6 losses and saw it disappear. The Pittsburgh Steelers have always been one of the NFL's great closers, and somehow here for the defending Super Bowl champions, it's gotten away from them. One more look. Gradkowski delivers it, arches it right over, and Louis Murphy, who's had a big game, the right guy at the right place.
Dropped at the 35-yard line and killed there by Joe Burnett. 8 seconds to play. Bruce Gradkowski, 20 completions in 33 attempts for a career-high 308 yards and a career-high 3 touchdowns.
Well, Pittsburgh needs to go about 35 or 40 yards in 8 seconds and stop the clock. They do have a timeout, but this is a tall order.
3 down, 3 down. You go. These 2. You go.
3 very deep men in the secondary for the Raiders. Roethlisberger throwing sideline complete, just short of midfield to Hines Ward. 3 seconds remaining.
Well, the net result of this next play has to end up in the end zone or some sort of a defensive penalty. That's all that's left in facing the Steelers.
Yeah, this is simply not in Jeff Reed's range.
Oh, come on, not right now.
Unless there's a penalty on the Raiders, the field
come
goes
on, baby,
off the
be good
boards.
now.
For the ball game. Roethlisberger stepping up and heaving it deep. Receivers in the end zone and go up for it. It is incomplete.